All right, Charleston, like I said, this is the finishing of 3.5. All right, so we did the equations with two variables. So now we're going to do equations with three variables. And I'm going to explain as I go through this problem, okay? So we're going to start out with three variables and three equations. All right, so I got x plus y plus z equals 3, 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals 15. And then my third equation is negative x plus 9y minus 3z is going to equal 29. All right, y'all, so what I'm going to do on this, let me explain. I'm going to choose two of these equations and get one of the three variables to eliminate. Then I got to use the other equation with either one of those two and eliminate that same variable again. So when you got three variables, you've got to do the elimination twice on that first shot, okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about. So on this one, I'm going to eliminate the x's. So I'm going to eliminate the x variable. And y'all, I'm going to label these equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3 so you can keep up with what I'm doing. So the first thing I do, I got an x in the first equation, negative x in the last equation. And remember, since I'm eliminating the x's, I'm going to add 1 and 3 first. So I'm going to add 1 and 3 to eliminate the x. So I'm going to bring down 1, which was x plus y plus z equals 3. Equation 3 was negative x plus 9y minus 3z equal 29. So that was my equation 1 and 3 being added to eliminate the x. Once I add them, I'm going to call that equation 4. All right, y'all, so here we go. The x's eliminate each other. 1 and 9 give you 10y. 1 and negative 3 give you negative 2z. And then 3 and 29 give us 32. All right, so I'm going to call that equation 4 now. So now, since I used the first equation and the last equation, I now have to use the middle equation and add it to one of these two equations and eliminate the x again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the second equation, which has a 2x, and I'm going to change this third equation by multiplying everybody by 2. And then that'll give me a negative 2x to add to this row. So I'm going to add 2 to a changed equation 3, okay? So bring down 2, that'll be 2x plus 5y plus 2z equals 15. If we take equation 3 down here and multiply everybody by 2, that'll give me a negative 2x. 2 times 9 gives me 18y. 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6z. And then 2 times 29 gives me 58. Once I add those and eliminate the x, I'll let that be my equation 5. All right, y'all, the x's cancel. 5 and 18 give you 23y. 2 and -6 give you -4z. And then 58 and 15 gives me 73. So notice I now have 2 equations that have a y and a z in both of them. So I'm going to put them 2 equations together. And if you notice, this now turns into a 2x3 system. All right, so that was my equation 4 and 5. So it takes elimination twice when you got 3 variables to get it down to a 2-variable equation. Now, a 2-variable equation, I can do like we did the other night. I'm going to choose one of these variables to eliminate. And y'all, it looks to me like the z's will be easier. So I'm going to eliminate the z variable. Now to eliminate the z variable, that's a -4 here and a -2. I need one of them to be positive. So what I'm going to do is take this equation 4, multiply all them by -2, because that -2 times -2 will make that a positive 4z. And then my z's will cancel. So I'm going to change 4 and then add the 5. All right, so that's going to give me -20y, positive 4z, and then -2 times 32 gives us a -64. And then bring down 5, which was 23y minus 4z equals 73. So my new row 4 and the row 5, we can now get rid of the z's. They cancel out. So -20 and 23 give me 3y. 73 -64 gives me a +9. So y'all, we've eliminated the z, the x, all that's left for the y, and all we're going to do now is solve for that y. So to solve for y, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And I get y is a +3. So now we're going to back substitute. So I got a y is 3. I can plug it into any of these 2 equations from 4 and 5 to get my z. So, they both about the same. So it looks like this equation 4 had smaller numbers. So I'm going to do 10 times y, which is 3, minus 2z is going to equal 32.
Can we only plug the y into the new equations that we made, or can we plug it into the original?
So if you wanted to come down here and plug the y into any one of these 2 equations, you can do that. Oh yeah, so that's what's nice about these. You can use the original equations or the changed equations, okay? All right, also multiply to get 30 minus 2z equals 32. Subtract 30 from both sides. -2z equals 2. And then divide by that -2. So the z is looking like a -1 for me. So now we know 2 of these variables. So now I can go to one of my 3 original equations and plug that into and get my x finally. So I'm probably just going to use that first one. I got an x plus y, which is 3, plus z, which is a -1. That's going to equal a +3. Oh, yeah, I want to add like terms on the left side. So I get an x plus 2 equals 3. Subtract 2 from both sides. X equals 1. So these, remember, have to be a ordered triple. So you would put your x first, which is 1. Your y, which was 3. And then your z, which was a -1. Close those parentheses and be done. So really similar to the two variable equations, except in the very beginning, you got to eliminate that same variable twice so that you can get it down to a 2x3 system, okay? And y'all, I'm going to show you this on the calculator. So let me pull my calculator up. All right, y'all, so on my calculator, remember, I got to put this into the calculator as a matrix. So I hit second, x -1. That pulls up my matrix, and I'm going to go over to edit and hit enter. So right now, my calculator has the 2x3 that we did the other day. So this one has 3 rows. So I'm going to hit 3 and enter. And then it's got 4 columns. So you always want to put your rows by column first. And now we're just going to plug in our numbers. I had a 1 enter, 1 enter, 1 enter. So that was my x, y, z. That equaled 3. Once I hit enter, it's going to jump down to the next row. I had 2 x's, so that's a 2. 5y is a 5. 2z is a 2. And that equaled 15. All right, now entering my third row, I had a -x, so that's a -1. 9 for the y. -3 for my z. And then a 29 for that last answer. And then hit enter. So I've got it all entered into my calculator. So this is the point where we quit the screen because we've got everything entered. So we would just hit second mode to quit the screen. So now our matrix, our 3x4 matrix is in that calculator. So now we need it to do some math for us. So for the second time, we hit second x -1. We're going to scroll over to math. And remember, we're going to scroll down until we find RREF and then hit enter. Whoops, it didn't like something I do. Let me see what I did. Okay, so there's my RREF on the screen. Now we got to get the matrix to put in there so that it'll reduce the matrix we just made. So for the third time, you hit second x -1. Matrix A is highlighted. That's my 3x4 I just made. So I hit enter. And on your screen, it now says RREF A. So I'm going to hit enter. And then remember, the far right column is my 3 numbers in order from top to bottom. So top, I have a 1 for the X. Then I have a 3 under that for the Y. Then I have
a question.
Yeah.
Are we able to use this method on each one, or does each one has to be handwritten or hand solved?
Oh, so here you can, I don't mind doing them by hand and I think they're fun, but if you like the calculator, Just plug them numbers right on that calculator and be done. So every one of these systems that I'm doing, whether it's a 2x3 or a 3x4, as long as you got them in order, you can throw them in here, okay? But y'all, they're sort of fun to do by hand, right? Maybe.
No.
So, either y'all like doing them by hand, or are y'all doing them by the calculator?
I'm doing them by hand, but I'm also doing them by calculator as well.
Yeah, and I always did that. This is sort of maybe check myself, make sure I was right. But I'll tell you, when you get through these, if you get nice whole numbers instead of decimals, you probably done them right. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna pull up another one. Let's see. All right, so for this one, I'm gonna do 4x plus 3y plus z equals 27. X minus 3y plus 2z equals 6. And then 11x minus 2y plus 3z is going to equal 45. So let me label them 1, 2, and 3. Oops, I think my camera came down a little. There we go. All right, so I got 3 equations and 3 variables. So I'm looking at that. In a way, the y's look the easiest to eliminate for me because I got one that eliminate right off the bat. Everything else I'm going to have to change no matter what. So I'm going to eliminate the y first by starting with equation 1 and equation 2 because I can add them right together and get rid of my y's. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 and 2. And I didn't have to change none of the rows because I got a positive 3 and a negative 3. So let me bring them down and eliminate that y. Now you also look, the y's cancel. So I got 4 and 1 is 5x. 1 and 2 give you 3z. That's going to equal 27 and 6, which is 33. So that's going to be our equation 4. So now the fun is going to be figuring out what to do to get our equation 5, because no matter what, we've got to use row 3 this time. So row 3 has a negative 2y. So I'm probably going to pick row 1 because it's already positive. And what I need to know is we got to figure out the smallest number that I can change 2 and 3 into. Or what's this? It's almost like doing a least common denominator. So the smallest number I can change them 2 rows into would be a 6. I'm going to multiply this whole row by 3 to make that a negative 6. I'm going to do row 1 by 2 to make that a positive 6. So I'm going to change 1 and 3, then add together. So sometimes you can't get around changing 2 rows, okay? So if I change row 1 up here, I'm going to multiply that whole row by 2. So 2 times 4 is 8x. 2 times 3y is 6y. 2 times 1 is 2z. And then 2 times 27 is 54. So that's my new 1. Now to get the new row 3, we're going to take row 3 and multiply it by a positive 3. So 3 times 11 gives you 33x. 3 times -2 gives you -6y. 3 times 3 gives you 9z. And that's going to equal 3 times 45, which is 135. That was my new row 3. But when I add them together, I will have my equation 5. And y'all, we was good. We got rid of the y's. So let's see. 8 and 33 is 41x. 2 and 9 is 11z. And then 135 and 54 is what? 189. All right, so y'all, 4 and 5 now make up the 2 variable equation. And then that was 41x plus 11z equaled 189. So my 4 and 5. All right, so I'm down to 2 variables. Neither one of them cancel right off the bat, so it looks like I'm going to have to change 2 rows no matter what. And I'm looking at that. I got a 5 and a 41 for the x's, a 3 and 11 for the z's. So I think, to me, it's going to be a little easier to eliminate the z this time. But y'all notice to eliminate the z's, I've got to change both rows. So if I use 3 and 11, what would be the smallest number I could turn them both into?
33.
33. And then we got to make one of them negative. So I'm going to multiply the top one by positive 11. And then I'll multiply this second row here by -3. That way we get a positive 33 and then a negative 33. All right, y'all, so let's go multiply by 11. I got 55x plus 33z. Ooh, let's see what that is. That's what, 33 times 11. That gives me 363. -3 times 41 is a -123x. -3 times 11 is -33z. And then -3 times 189 is a -567. Ooh, so that was your new 4 and new 5. Now my numbers will start shrinking once I get this part done. So let me see what this equals. 55 minus 123 is a -68x. The z's canceled like we want. And then the 363 minus 567 gives me a -204. So now we're happy. We're down to 1 variable that we can now solve for. And if you notice, when you're down to 1 variable, the only step you got is to get that division done. So now I will solve for x. I'm going to divide both sides by -68. And notice all these negatives will make everything positive now. So let's see, that looks like x equals a +3. So I wanted to do this one because you had to do a lot of change into this one to get some of these to eliminate. That way y'all get the hang of that. So now I got an x is 3. I'm probably going to go to this equation 4 that was originally 5x plus 3z equals 33. That one looks easier to me. So that's going to give me 5 times 3 plus 3z equals 33. But remember, you could, if you don't mind these big numbers, you could have plotted it into that one or any of them, okay? All right, y'all, 15 plus 3z equals 33. Subtract 15 from both sides. 3z now equals 18. Divide by 3. So I now know that my z is, what's that, 18 divided by 3? Gives me a 6. So I've got my x is 3, my z is 6. So I'm going to come up here and do my back substitution for the last time. So I'm going to go to one of my original equations. Everything's positive on that top one, so I'll just use that. So I got 4 times x, which is 3, plus 3y, plus z, which is 6. All those got to equal 27. All right, y'all multiply first. So you get a 12 plus 3y plus 6 equals 27. I got numbers on the left side that are like terms. So I'm going to add my 12 and 6. I get an 18 plus 3y equals 27. So now I'm just getting down to a little adding and dividing. So let's see, 18, I'm going to subtract 18 to move that. All right, so 27 minus 18 is what, a positive 9. And there we go, my last step, divide by 3. So that y looks like what, a positive 3. So my ordered triple would be my x, which was 3. My y, which was 3. And then my z, which was a positive 6. So y'all, the trick on those, make sure everything's in order, but all the ones that have 3 variables and 3 equations, they're all in order for you already. So you just start eliminating variables and move on. All right, y'all, anyone have a question on that? And then remember, every problem in 3-5 pretty much can be done on your calculator. It'll either be a 2x3 matrix or a 3x4. All right, so let me get this paper ready. So y'all, we will start. Well, we should be able to finish 3.6. It's the same thing, except these are called solving applied problems. All right, let me make one note. So 3.7. All right, so for this week, I'm about to knock out 3.6. So your homework this week would be that 9.2, 3.5, and 3.6. I'm going to modify the due dates this weekend and move 3.7 to next week. And then if I need to next week, I'll move the 7.1 stuff down, okay? So we're solving applied problems, which means word problems. Okay. So I'm going to ask y'all something. I'm going to see if y'all can see this. So I'm just going to ask y'all these first 2 questions to see what y'all would do with this. So you got 3 statements here. X minus y plus z is 50. X plus y plus z is 50. X minus Y minus Z is 50. Which one of them would be the true statement? For the sum of three numbers is 50.
Would it be the second one?
Yeah, definitely. Because sum means adding on those, okay? And in this one, the first number is 50 more than the sum of the other two numbers.
The second one.
Yeah, right, because all those equal. There you go. So just play with those and they'll ask y'all two questions like that, okay? And then they'll actually get into the problems involving these systems of equations. So I'm going to do these 3-word problems here. So the first one says, in triangle ABC, the measure of angle B is 4 degrees more than 3 times the measure of angle A. That's going to be my first equation when I figure out what that means. The measure of angle B is 4 degrees more than 3 times the measure of angle A. Then they say the measure of angle C is 41 degrees more than the measure of angle A. Then they say, find the measure of each angle. All right, so we need to get some equations out of these sentences they're giving me. So the first one is angle B. So angle B.
Can you give me just a second? Let me write it down before you get started. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's good. And this is why they was giving y'all a few sentences about what sums and differences are, so that y'all can figure these out on these equations.
I got it.
All right. All right, y'all. So is means equals. And then 4 degrees more than 3 times angle A. So that'll be 4 plus 3 times my angle A. Now, when I start solving these, I'm going to move that 3A over to the other side, because remember, I need my A, B's, and C's all lined up equal to my numbers. So they're going to be out of order when we first start. So y'all, how about this one? The measure of angle C, so that's going to be C equals, is 41 more than the measure of angle A. So that's going to be our 41 plus A. And on that one, I need to move the A to the other side. So y'all, the shortcut on this, if you want to move a variable from one side to the other, change its sign. So to move a variable, from one side to the other, we change the sign. So we'll just move them over, change the sign. That's what you would get if you subtracted 3A from both sides anyway. So if we do that to the first one, I'm going to have negative 3A plus my B is going to equal the 4. Second equation, if I move A to the other side, it's going to become negative. So you're gonna have a negative A plus the C equals 41. So y'all notice, I got one equation, two equations.
I have a question.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, never mind. I see. I did something wrong. Never mind.
Okay. So y'all, here's the thing on this one. I need a third equation if I'm going to solve this system of equations. So let me ask y'all what y'all know about the angles of a triangle.
Shouldn't C be the biggest measurement?
Oh, I'm hearing you, but I couldn't understand.
Shouldn't C be the biggest measurement?
Oh, don't even think about that. Just think about those three angles. What do you know about all three angles inside?
45 degrees.
Well, you're getting closer. But what,
I may be wrong, but is it 180? They all equal 180.
180, they all equal 180. So I know that A plus B plus C all equal 180. Now, this is the only one where you had to know something extra. But yeah, anything that deals with triangles, always remember that they will add up to 180. So y'all, let me show you what I got going on. So on this one, the second equation doesn't have a B. So if I can use the first and third to eliminate the B, equation 2 automatically becomes the second equation. And it's the same thing with the C's. If I use these two equations to eliminate the C, the first one automatically becomes my equation 5 because it's already missing that variable. So do we want to eliminate the B's or the C's?
B's.
I'm going to eliminate the B. So watch this. To eliminate the B, I got a positive B down here and a positive B up here. I'm going to multiply this first row by a -1 so that my B will be negative. So I'm going to change 1 and add the 3. And that's just changing all the signs, multiplying by that -1. So you get a positive 3A minus B is going to equal a -4. Bring down row 3, which was A plus B plus C equals 180. So y'all look at that. 3 and 1 give you 4A. The B's cancel. So I got a plus C, and that's going to equal, what's that, 184. That's now our row 4. But y'all look up here. Row 2 is a -A plus C equals 41. So equation 2 automatically becomes equation 5 because it does not have the B. So that would be -A plus C equals 41. So what I did there, equation 2 automatically becomes equation 5 since it does not have the B.
So on these, we will have to solve them by hand. We couldn't put these in the calculator.
Oh, we're about to put it in the calculator.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
So
we
with
love
the
calculators, okay?
with the with the -4 and the 180, it wouldn't be
Oh
176.
no, it wouldn't. Oops, my bad. That was a 180 there. That'd be a 176 maybe.
Okay.
So y'all keep me honest, okay? All righty, so I got to figure out, do we want to get rid of the A's or the C's?
A's maybe.
Okay, I can do that. So to eliminate the A, I got a 4 and a -1. I'm gonna multiply this row 5 by 4 to make that a -4. So I'm gonna add 4 to a changed equation 5. So 4 was 4A plus C equaled 176. We're multiplying this in by 4, we get a -4A plus 4C. And then let's see, 41 times 4 is 164. All right, also let me pull my camera down just a little bit there. All right, so let's add them. The A's are gone. 1 and 4 give me 5C. Let's see, 176 plus 164 gives me 340. All right, now we're happy. We're down to one variable. We're going to divide by 5 and see what that C equals.
$68.
68, there you go. So I now know angle C is 68, so I'm gonna come up here and start back substitution. But look here. This variable, I can find A really quick if I know C, because there's only 2 variables. So I'm gonna plug into this second equation. I got a -A plus my C, which was 68. That's got to equal 41. All right, y'all subtract 68. So let's see, 68.
-27.
-27. Remember, divide both them by -1 so we can make the A positive. So that A is now a positive 27. So we've got 2 angles. Now here's what's nice. I know A, I can use the first equation to get my B. I can plug them all down to the third one to get the B anyway. So I'm probably just going to use that third one. I'm going to back substitute for the last time. So A, which was 27. I don't know B. I know C is 68. No, that's going to equal that 180. So 27 plus 68, give me 95 on the left side, plus my B equals 180. And y'all, what's nice about these? You didn't have to eliminate the same variables as me. You could have eliminated any of the 3 variables, okay? Oh, y'all, what I got? I got to subtract my 95 and we'll be done. So let's see, 180 and 95 will give me a
85.
positive 85. There you go. Now, this one, you don't have to put it in an ordered pair. This one will have an answer blank that says angle A equals, angle B equals, and then angle C equals. So watch this on the calculator. So let me pull that calculator up. Now this one will be tricky on the calculator. Let me show y'all something real quick. So my system is right here. -3A plus B equals 4. I'm going to put a -3 for the first number. I'll put a 1 for the second number. What will I put in place where that C is?
Say it again.
So remember, when I do my 3x4 equation, they're going to give me 12 boxes on there. So I'm going to put in a -3, a 1, and then a what?
Would it be 0?
There's no C there, so you're putting a
1?
oh no, because remember that B has a 1 in front of it.
Oh, I said a 0, so that
I'm
wouldn't
going to
be
go for 0.
Okay.
And then you would put your 4. Now, the second row, you would have a -1. There's not a B here, so you put what?
0.
And then I got 1C, and then my 41. And then the last row would be 1, 1, 1, 180. These are the numbers we got to put into the calculator. So the main thing you got to remember, when you're missing a variable, you got to put a 0 there, okay? All right, now we got the numbers. Let's go get that calculator. All right, so I'm gonna clear all these old keys off. All right, so here we go. We go to second, x -1. We're gonna go over to edit and put this thing into our calculator. So it's a 3x4, so hit enter twice on that. All right, goes to the first one. Remember, I had a -3. Enter. 1 enter. 0 enter. And then we had 4. All right, once I enter, it's going to the second row. I had a -1. Enter. We had a 0 for the B, enter. We got a 1, enter. And then 41. All right, it's now going to my last row. I had 1, 1, 1, and 180. So 1 enter, 1 enter, 1 enter, and then 180. Now in class, I had a few people missing this because they didn't hit enter after they put that last number in. You always want to hit enter on every number. All right, so our matrix is in there. So now we're going to quit the screen by hitting second mode. All right, so now we got a new 3x4 matrix in there. So now we got to go do the math stuff. So second, x -1, arrow over to math, and then down to RREF. Once we get RREF, we hit enter. And now for the third time, we hit second, x -1 to get that matrix. And that's why I always leave mine as matrix A, because I can just hit enter on that and be done. All right, so what do we get while go? We got a 27, 85, and 68. Watch the magic when I hit enter. On the right side, I have a 27, 85, 68. And what's nice is it'll put them in the order we need them, okay? My A, B, C, or my X, Y, Z, ever how we're doing it. So yeah, I love the calculators. Especially if I'm doing stuff that's got decimals and fractions. I really love those calculators. Howdy, also, let's try another one. The sum of 3 numbers is 58. Whoops, y'all can't see that. Let me bring that back up. All right, y'all should be able to see it now. The sum of 3 numbers is 58. All right, so the difference let me see, differ. Oh, there's only one E, so let's put one E, D-I-F-F-E-R-E-N-C-E. So the difference of the largest and smallest is 52. My third sentence says the sum of the 2 smaller numbers is 13. Then they say, find the numbers. So what I'm going to do on this, since I'm talking about a large number, middle number, small number, I'm going to let my largest number be first, then my middle number, then my smallest number, and then my answer. So let's figure out our sentences. The sum of three numbers is 58. That's going to be a X plus a Y plus a Z equals 58. So that's why they did that little bit of a, where we had to pick out the sentences earlier. So figure this one out. The difference of the largest number and the smallest is 52. Well, my largest number is the X. So we're subtracting, are we going to be subtracting the Y or are we going to be subtracting the Z?
Z.
There you go. So minus the Z. So the largest minus the smallest is 52. And then look at this one. Let me see what y'all would do here. The sum of the two smaller numbers is 13.
Add the middle and the small.
That'd be what, a Y plus my Z. And we said that equaled 13.
13.
There you go. So you got equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. So now, notice, this is another one. If you did it on the calculator, you're going to have a 0 here and a 0 on the bottom where that X would be.
Go down. Down.
Somebody has to mute their mic.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one. I think they're good now. All righty, y'all. So all we got to do is pick some variables to start eliminating.
Z maybe?
What'd y'all say, to Z?
Yes.
So let's eliminate a Z. So it looks like if I add 1 and 2, I can get rid of the Z. And second time, I'll add 2 and 3 and get rid of the Z. So that's a good choice. So I'm going to add 1 and 2 first. So X plus Y plus Z equals 58. X minus Z equals 52. All right, so let's see what happens. I get 2 X's plus my Y, the Z's cancel, and that's what, 110. So we're gonna make that equation 4. Now, I gotta use the third equation, and since it's positive, I'm gonna go with equation 2 to cancel them Z's there. So now I'm gonna add 2 and 3. So I got an X minus Z equals 52. I got a Y plus Z equals 13. Once we add those, we'll have equation 5. Well, let's see what we got. We got an X, plus we got that Y, the Z's cancel, and that's what? That's going to be 65. So now we got 2 equations, 2X plus Y equals 110. X plus Y equals 65. So pick me a variable to eliminate now.
Why?
So to eliminate the Y, I'm going to change the second row by multiplying it by a -1. So I'm going to add 4 to a changed 5. All right, y'all, so 4 stays the same, 2X plus Y equals 110. Remember, if we multiply by negative, everybody becomes negative. So I got a negative x minus a y equals a negative 65. Oh, you picked good because look what's going to happen. 2x's minus x is a 1x. The y's cancel. So all we got to figure out is what 110 minus that 65 is. And that's going to give me, it looks like 45. But guess what? I know x now. I don't even have to divide because it came out as a 1x. So I know x is 45. So my largest number is 45. So now I'm just going to start back substituting. All right, so I know x. Yo, I could go to this second equation, put in for that x, and get that z pretty quick there. I could have come down here to my 4 and 5, put an x into this number 5 and got that in pretty quick. So I think I'm going to substitute into equation 5. X is 45 plus y equals 65. Subtract that 45. So now I know y is 20. So my largest number is 45. My middle number is 20. So now we back substitute to get the small number. And I might just hit this last equation up here. I got y plus z is 13. Well, my y is 20. Plus my z is going to equal 13. Subtract 20 and be done. So y'all, what's that? 13 minus 20, that's what a negative -7. So to answer blank will say the three numbers from largest to smallest, they're going to go in the order that you got them, the X, Y, and Z. So 45, 20, and then your -7. So they're not too bad. Once you start getting them eliminated, you can play with any of these equations to back substitute into, okay? As long as when you get your first variable, remember, it's got to include that variable and only one other one if you go to these originals. Otherwise, I'd have just shot it into 4 or 5, got both my numbers, and then went for one of the originals, okay? All right, so I'm going to do one more. See what y'all think about this one. So this one's about cholesterol. So it says by eating one egg, so one egg, one cupcake, and one slice of pizza. So by eating one egg, one cupcake, and one slice of pizza, a child consumes 301 milligrams of cholesterol. Second sentence says, if the child eats 3 cupcakes, 4 slices of pizza, that child would take in 96 milligrams of cholesterol. My third sentence says, if you eat 3 eggs, 1 cupcake, a child consumes 836 milligrams of cholesterol. So then they want to know how much cholesterol is in each item. So first, I'm going to let my eggs be my X's. My cupcakes will be my Y. My pizza will be my Z's. And then the cholesterol will be my answers. All right, so first sentence. 1 egg, 1 cupcake, 1 pizza equal 301. Second line would be 3 cupcakes, which is 3 Y's, plus 4 pizzas, which is my Z, equals 96. Last line would be 3 X's, plus 1 cupcake equals 836. So y'all, I have my equation 1, 2, and 3. So you know the question of the day. What variable do we want to eliminate first?
Z.
Why?
So I heard a Z first, so I'm going to eliminate the Z. But y'all, any 3 of them works, okay? So to eliminate the Z, I got a 4Z here and a 1Z here. I'm going to multiply row 1 by -4 and add to row 2. So I'm going to change 1 and then add to my equation 2. So remember, I'm going to come in here and multiply this whole thing by a -4. So I'll get a -4x, -4y, -4z. So let's see what that's going to be. 301 times my -4. It's a -1204. Then bring down row 2, which is a 3y plus a 4z equals 96. Hey, y'all, let's see. That brings down to -4x. -4y, 3y gives me a -y. The z's cancel. And let's see, -1204 plus 96 gives me a -1108. That is now equation 4. I got x's and y's. But y'all, guess what? Look at equation 3. All it has is x's and y's, right? So this will be sort of like we'll go. Equation 5 is automatically going to be equation 3, which is 3x's plus a y equals 836. So use 3 as equation 5 since it has no z. All right, y'all, let's add that. -4 and 3 give you -1x. The y's cancel. And then that -1108 plus 836. That's going to give me a -272. Divide everybody by -1. So x is 272. So that means my eggs have 272 milligrams of cholesterol. So y'all, now I'm going to back substitute. And I'm probably going to use this bottom equation because it's got x's and y's. So I got 3 times 272 plus my y is going to equal 836. All right, so let's see. 3 times 272 is giving me 816 plus y equals 836. All right, what do we got left to subtract that 816? Y'all, here we go. Y is 20. So apparently eggs got 272 milligrams of cholesterol. My cupcakes only got 20. So now let's back substitute and we'll check out the pizza. So let's see, my pizza was my Z. So I'm just gonna plug all my numbers into the top one and see what I get. So I got 272 plus 20 plus Z equals 301. I'm gonna add like terms. That's gonna give me 292 plus my Z equals 301. Woo, and my last step, subtract that 292. So let's see, 301 minus 292 means my pizza only has 9 milligrams of cholesterol. Now in the answer blank, they'll say, they'll have the egg equals, cupcake equals, and then the pizza equals. Now, we could have done that on the calculator also, right? But remember, if you do that on the calculator, you're going to have zeros on it. So you'll have 1, 1, 1, 301 for the first equation. Second equation would be 0, 3, 4. And then your 96. Third equation would be 3, 1, 0. And then your 836. So if you're using your calculator, those would be the numbers to punch in. Once you hit enter, it'll give you an order 272, 20, and then your 9. All right, y'all. So questions on that one. And really, your trick in this section is to either get good at doing these by hand or get good at doing that on that calculator, okay? Either way, I don't make you show work on these tests. So it's just picking a method and getting good on it, okay? So what we'll do Monday, we'll do 3.7. And that deals with graphing inequalities. So it's a fairly short lesson. So I might be able to get started on reviewing for test 1. If not, we'll review for test 1 on Wednesday, okay? All righty, y'all, so I'm gonna quit this screen. All righty, so questions.
Okay, so I do have a question on when you do the parentheses part, like on I'm sorry, you took the screen away, but like when you're multiplying a certain number by everything in parentheses, where does it come from?
So let me pull one up here where I had up here. So let me go back. So I think what you're asking is like this 2 here.
Where,
Yeah. This 2 all the way through the parentheses. So the reason I had to pick that 2, because we were eliminating the X's. And when we added row 1 and 3, you had an X and a negative X. So they canceled right on out. But when we did this elimination over here, remember we had to use row 2 that time. And row 2 has a 2X on it. So I had to pick either the first row or the third row and try to cancel a 2X. So I went with the third one because it was already negative.
okay.
But I needed that to be a -2. So I had to multiply 2 by negative X to make that a -2 so that they would cancel over here. But remember, if you multiply anybody in an equation, you got to do everything by that 2. So the only reason I picked a 2 is because I needed it to be a -2 so that I could cancel.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And you'll get used to those. Really, if you do 1 or 2 of those, you're pretty good by then, and you should be able to sort of move through them maybe. But they're long problems, right?
Yes.
That's
very-
probably the longest problem we'll do in this class. As far as one problem being so long. All right, so I'm gonna quit my recording.